Hello guys, and welcome to this video. So in this video we're going to do question number 2, and in the last video we did question number 1, where we created a program that prompts the user to enter his or her name, and then the program outputs hello whatever name that you enter. And so today we want to do number 2 and number 3 of our Zimsec specimen paper, right? And so before we go further, remember to subscribe to the channel, and you can actually also visit our website where we have courses, right? We have courses for A levels, we have courses for O levels, and we have other courses, right? And so the link is below, that is crowdlink.co.zw. Make sure you visit our website, make sure you buy a course. They are very cheap and it's high quality. And so number 2 says create a program to generate a random number between 1 to 6, and you can use the random class, right? So produce the interface above. So that means we've actually going to use I'm going to use a text box, and I'm going to use a button. And so let's get into our Visual Studio, right? And so I have already designed the interface, right? And so this is actually my interface. This is my text box, this is my button. And so if I click on the text box and go to properties, I actually see the properties of the text box. Let's do that. And so actually I named the text box txt random number, and remember I always say name a component with the function that it actually does, right? And so in the text box, this is whereby our output will be shown for the random number, and the button, which is btn random number, that is the name. This is where we will actually initiate the process of generating a random number, right? And so remember, the text is just the text that is shown, but that is not the name. If you scroll down here on the properties, if you scroll down, we actually see the name. So the name is btn random, right? And so let's just get right into it. Let's write the code. And so the question says we should write a program that actually generates a random number between 1 and 6, right? And so 6 is actually the ceiling and 1 is the floor. So by the ceiling, I mean 6 is actually the highest number by which our program should reach, and 1 is the lowest number. So it's between 1 and 6, our random number. That's where our range is, right? So first thing is, whatever random number, remember we are saying a number, so it actually means the variable that we are going to use must be an integer, must be a number. So first thing is dim random. I could have said dim random, but remember we have reserved words in Visual Basic. I really don't know if random is a reserved word, but just to be sure, I'm not going to say random. I'm going to say random generator. Dim random generator is an integer, right? So we have our variable random generator. So the next thing is this is whereby we actually use the random class to tell it the upper, the floor, and the ceiling, right? So first thing is first, you're going to say random generator. Our variable random generator is going to be equal to an integer, right? So whatever number we are going to generate, the random number we're going to generate, we want it to be an integer, right? And so the next thing is I'm going to tell the program, look, our ceiling is going to be 6. This is actually the highest number which the random generator should consider, and we are going to call the random class. Yes, you are going to call the random class, and you are also going to tell your program that the floor is actually 1. And so by this code, I've actually written the code that generates a random number between 6 and 1. So the first thing is you should multiply the ceiling multiplied by the random class, then you add the floor. So this is actually the code which tells the computer, hey, generate a number between 6 and 1, right, using the random class. And whatever number that is generated, we need it to be output, right? And so we want the output to be shown in our text box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say txt random dot text is equal to whatever number that is generated, right, is equal to the random generator, right? So I think our program is actually done, and the next thing is actually just to test if it actually runs. So I'm going to click start and see if the program actually works. And so we wait, and yeah, this is the program, right? So when I click click here to generate a random number. It should generate a random number between 6 and 1. So I'm going to click. So it generated 5, 4, 2, 5. So you actually see that it's generating a random number haphazardly. So this actually means that our program works, and this is the whole thing. And let's go to the question. We actually see that the question is 10 marks, so you just get 10 marks for doing this, and you are done. And so let's move to number 3. So number 3 says write a program code to display the hash pattern as shown below. Print the code and interface above. So we have a combination of about 5 rows of these hash patterns, right? And so the thing is, for these shapes we actually use what we call a console application, right? So we don't use a Windows Form application. So I'm going to create a new project, right, for this. So I'm going to say file and create new project, right? And so I'm going to use a console application, and I'm going to say next. So I'm going to call it hash pattern, right? I'm going to call it hash pattern, right? And I'm going to, yeah. So we're actually in. So the first line of code you see, it's Visual Basic. It actually automatically does that for you. So I'm just going to delete this. Okay, and so remember, the question actually says we should generate a hash pattern like this. So it means 5 rows of this hash, right? And so what I'm going to do this, you actually come here and write console dot write line, right? Console dot write line, and whatever you want to print to the terminal, you actually put it in quotes inside the parentheses. And so there are 5 hash patterns, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm just going to copy this and paste it 4 times because we have 4 rows of this. So I'm going to say Ctrl C, and then I'm going to paste it 4 times, and we are done. And so right now I'm going to run the program and actually see if it does what it should do. And so I run the program, and there you go. So actually, if you are using a previous version of Visual Studio, it would have actually just sort of like boom and it's gone, because we have some code that we haven't written yet. So whenever you're using a console application, to make sure whatever you execute, after it's executed, you need to see the output for some time, not just for a second and then it terminates. So to do this, you're going to say console dot readline, right? Console dot readline, and it's okay. So let's run the program again, and there you go, the program actually runs. And if you want to terminate it, you just click here. So this is actually all you needed to know. And so remember, the question actually had 15 marks, and that's like 10 plus 15, you already have 25 marks. And so this is all about it, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, as we will actually add more content which is more useful to you. And also don't forget to visit our website and sign up. There will be free courses, there will be paid courses, and so don't forget. Thank you.